Hey. No, let me stop. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Jere Speaks of MYLF.com. And it's been a minute, but hey, I miss making videos, and welcome to Women's Monday Chat. This is just gonna be a random video of I moved to a new state. I'm no longer in California. I am in Mississippi, learning my way around. And I want to give you guys some back end story about that. If you guys have been following the journey on YouTube with me, you guys know that I was in a relationship that wasn't called by God, and a series of events happened to where I was broken down. I mean, to the point of I was crying and I was asking God for a way out. And even when he put the answer in my lap, I still fell multiple times until he really had to open up my eyes and give me some receipts that this was really not him. Have you ever been in the season where you think you're in a right relationship, where you think it just feels good, the chemistry is there, and it feels so right, but then you're weighted down. You feel unsure. You don't feel right in the relationship, but you don't want to be lonely. You feel like if you put more effort in, maybe it will get better. And then you pause, you leave, you reconcile with God, and then your flesh rises back up. And you kind of go back to that relationship. I did that multiple times until I finally had to say, you know what? This is not what God has called me to do. Why? I have a whole husband. I was going through a whole divorce. I was cheated on. But guess what? 2 wrongs does not make a right. Somehow I felt validated. I said, you know what? Well, since this is ending, I can do this. Or since I kept on trying to make excuses for this bleeding heart. But let me tell you this. I had to really open up and listen. And maybe a few months ago, God gave me a dream. And I woke up in that dream. And I was just crying. And I turned over to the guy that I was talking to and I said, who is she? See, God will reveal the things that you ask him for, but you have to be very clear and ready, to receive them. So in this dream, we were at the mall or somewhere getting new phones, and his phone rung. And if you guys are familiar with the secular song, My Body All Over Your Body by LSG, the group, that was not my ringtone. That was not his ringtone for me. And some other girl called him and was like, oh, when can I see you? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm with my girl. At the same time, I'm just like, he's walking away from me in the dream. And God allowed my ear to hear the whole conversation. And I woke up infuriated, mad, everything like that. And after I got my 2 cents out and he told me I was tripping, and God let me know, he said, everything that I tell you is not for you to say at that time. Now, mind you, I need to take a juice break because we are quarantined. So after this, I'm not going to release any names, someone close to someone that he knows, came and told me, drop some receipts, this, because we were on break. I was away from him for 35 days, being strong, revisiting my relationship with God. And then before this happened, of what I just stated, he calls me, when can I see you? I was over the relationship. I was over that, and I was getting back to me, back to God. And somehow he got back in my ear. I'm gonna tell you what what love does. It can be the right love or the wrong love, but I know this was the wrong love. And I went down to see him. I kept fighting it. I kept telling him I didn't want to talk to him. I kept telling him, but then that hope kicked in that maybe this could work. And I went. I was only supposed to stay for the weekend. I ended up staying for a month and some days, and it was pure hell. Not in the beginning. The first 4 days was cool. We were happy to see each other. And then things just start getting weird because his phone started going off. And normally he doesn't ignore his phone. I said, why is your phone going off? And, I was just kidding around. Oh, those are just my notifications. And things start happening. And then I had that dream that I told you guys about just a few seconds ago. So somebody sat me down and they were drinking. And I guess they were having relationship problems of their own. But let me tell you, sometimes loose lips is not always a bad thing, because when you are not supposed to be in a certain situation, God will allow somebody to spill the beans. And so, to make a long story short, this person says, let's go to the store. So I get in their car, they ride, they go to the store, they're in their emotions, and they start drinking. I don't drink. And they start drinking, and I was just listening, and I so happened to ask a question. I said, has such and such had anyone over here while we were on break? The response was no. I left it alone. No, the response was, I'm not going to say anything. That opened up my mind even more, but I left it alone. Minutes later, they come back to that question and say, you know what? I'm going to tell you X, Y, and Z. And just gave me a whole table of information. Oh, at this time, I'm upset. I'm upset. I just want to get out the car and just go straight to the person that I'm talking to, right? So we get back in the house maybe a few hours later. That person goes, don't say anything. I go, okay. And I'm burning on the inside. So I asked this person, I said, I can't take it. Can I say something? They already lit. Oh, I don't care. And they really didn't, because they didn't care for the person that I was with. I go, okay. I go in there, looking around. I thought and I let them know. I said, oh, at first I was settled and nice. I said, oh, I thought you didn't have anyone that you were talking to while we weren't speaking. I thought you weren't intimate with nobody. Oh, no, you're tripping, blah, blah, blah. He thought I was talking about based on the dream I had, days prior to this conversation. No. So when I start laying out receipts, this, that, and the third, they get mad, very upset, and goes, who told you this? I didn't give out no names until that person said it was okay. And even then, he was like, you can't believe them. But I'm not like, when I start stating facts, he got really upset. And from there, it was just like downhill. God was speaking, get out of there, leave this person alone, yada, yada, yada. And it took me to open up my eyes to see that when something is not for you, is not for you. And when God loves you, even when you have made your bed and he lets you sit in there for a while, he will come and rescue you. He will rescue you. And I had to really, really respond how God needed me to. And I had to make haste. I was upset. And I said some things. I let him know how I felt. I really did. Because can you imagine waking up for a week straight? Every time you open up your eyes, you're just crying. Tears, tears, tears. And the person that claims to love you, even though this is not the person that you're meant to be with, but you still have that love. And they're just telling you to get over this and get over that. And, oh, we weren't together when it happened, but it still hurt because you lied to me. Being lied to stings differently when you measure intimacy and you hold it at a high regard. When someone is telling you, oh, I don't desire to be intimate with nobody but you. I held that precious to my heart, and I cried. And I told him, I said, I just was crying. and I just started letting it out. And I know we're not supposed to hate people, but that was how I felt at that time. Can I just be real and transparent with you guys? I was like, I hate you. I said, I said, and I just let him know. I said, I hate you. I said, because you lied to me and you hurt me and you keep on hurting me. And he stole my choice from me, because my choice to come down was based on his pure word of he was free and clear from anybody else. Had I known this prior to me coming down, I would have never made that trip. And it was like, I believed him. Even though I knew I was not supposed to go out there, I did anyway. And did I regret it? I did, but I stayed longer than I should have. So I am just thankful that I listened to God, because I was in a dangerous situation. My best friend, she texted me when I was at work a day before I left, because I left California, I want to say February 29th of 2020 this year. And she sent the text. She said, my husband had a dream that you died. Nobody identified your body and nobody knew what happened to you. That alone scared me. So that Thursday morning before I went into work, and even before I got that message, that Thursday while I was at work, God told me to pack my bags and leave. Now, my bags was already packed, but I was like, let me just go to work so I can just clock in a couple of more hours, just to assure that I'll have like a little bit more cash, to hit that paycheck. When I tell you, God is not playing. When I tell you that obedience is better than sacrifice, oh, honey, I made my choice to go and get on that Greyhound bus on February 29th, and I've been in Mississippi, healing, growing, and trusting God and forgiving folks, and it's a climb. It's a real climb, and I'm just now getting back to the point where I am doing the things that I know that God has called me to do. I want to just encourage anybody, if you guys are wrestling with God, don't. If you are in a wrong relationship and it is killing you to breathe, you are fighting for something that you know is not going to grow, that you know God has not called you into, please be obedient. Be obedient to what God has called you to do. And just hold a standard in your life. I've made some huge mistakes. I wish I would have just steered clear of that guy and just held on to my purity, because it'll be 8 years since I've been married. And, at first I felt justified getting into a relationship because I was like, oh, my husband cheated on me, so I can do this because I'm free and clear. That was the enemy trying to toy with my mind because I gave him room to come in. But I can't blame everything on the enemy, because I did things out of revenge. And now it's like I'm desiring for things to come back together with my marriage, because I still see something that I'm holding on to there. And the whole time that I was in that relationship, it was just like, it was for comfort. It wasn't something that I altogether seen longevity in, but I was going to push myself to be in a longevity relationship, because I was like, well, you're the only person that I've been with since I've been with my husband, so I'm going to do that, because, I don't jump from body to body. That's just not me. And I was just going to make it work, because it's just like, I loved him. And I didn't want to sit up here and take the time to try to, piggyback and go this way. And when God takes you out of something, it's like you have to stay out, or it's going to get worser and worser. So my goal is to really get down to the deep-rooted things that women are going through that are not spoken on, because as I stated, I'm very transparent. I am not worried about judgment. I'm not worried about people unfollowing me on social media. I'm just being honest. I'm not worried about anybody, leaving bad remarks or comments, because this is a journey. And this is a journey that will help other women not go down the same road that I, in disobedience, did. I consciously made some poor decisions. I consciously made some wrong steps in my life. And I know that I can rewrite those wrongs by just staying on the path that God has chosen for me, instead of me going and doing my own thing. Because me doing my own thing has never got me so far. And I just want to be in the perfect will of God. So I just want you guys to be mindful that nothing that you have done can take you where you need to go in God, if it's in the bad nature. If you have did stuff outside of the will of God, you're never too far gone to return to Him. You're never too far gone to say, God, forgive me, and really mean it and stop doing it. So I just want to encourage you guys to step out on faith, step away from that relationship that God has not ordained you to be in, and come back to God, because that is the safest place that you can be right now. Also, I want to chime in on this COVID-19. While everything gets in a pandemic, we're in so much turmoil. You see so many people that are acting so erratic. I know, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but we have to really live on God's word. If we are true believers in that we are truly living on Psalms 91 right now, and even dependent on God for everything, we have to be radical in our faith and knowing that, God, you have this. God, you said no plague will come nigh my dwelling. You said that it won't even come near me. So we have to be keepers of God's word. Right now, I do want to invite you all to go to mendthevow.com, and on the read tab, I want you guys to join in on the Cover Me 21-day fast. We are currently on day 5. You guys can catch up, because it's a fast that will get you through a lot of things. We're talking about women's issues. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about getting over gossip. So many things that can break habits. It takes 21 days to break a habit. It takes 21 days to do something and to stick with it. So I just want to really applaud the women that are doing everything that they can to pick themselves back up after leaving God and coming back. You are not a failure. You made a mistake, and God will see you through this. Do not let the enemy play on your mistakes. Don't let him play you with the shame game. Don't let him play with your mind. Just allow God to be Him, and He'll do the rest. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Remember to always be the woman that God has called you to be. Remember to always be updated with what's going on mendthevow.com, and always remember to be true to yourself, and also remain true to God. Love you all.